In this particular episode, I'll be looking at how to build a simple backup camera. So if you're interested in a project like this, I want you to stay tuned and I'm going to show you how I get to build it. How you all doing today? My name is OG. Welcome to my show Creatronix. So in this second season, I'm going to be looking at a whole couple of projects which I'm going to be building in this particular season. So I've been driving for a while and I've always wanted to have a car with a backup camera, but unfortunately when I got my car is a Chevy Cruze 2012 car, and I was expecting to see, all the modern features in the car, but unfortunately it didn't come with a backup camera. So that's actually one of the motivations, and if you ask me, I think a backup camera is really helpful for a driver, especially because it gets to show a driver the rear view of his car, showing if there are people, if there are other cars behind him, or even animals, and it helps a driver make definitely better driving decisions, especially when he's backing up his car. So without wasting any more time, let's jump into build. The goal of this project is to build a system that allows me to install a camera at the trunk of my car or at the back of my car, and I'm able to have a display screen which I can be able to see real time what is going on at the back of my car. For this project, I'm going to be using a single board computer, which is actually a Raspberry Pi 4, and this particular Raspberry Pi has 8GB RAM, and initially I tried to use a 4GB and I realized it was too slow and I went on to use an 8GB. So I've actually built this project before, but for documentation purposes I'm actually putting this project again together, so I'm sure someone else out there can learn from it. So and I want to quickly say that this is not a Raspberry Pi tutorial, and there are tons of tutorials on Raspberry Pi which you can get online, which you can get on YouTube, that can teach you how to set up your Raspberry Pi, can teach you how to do several stuff with your Raspberry Pi. So but for this project, I'm just going to be focusing on building a simple backup camera using the Raspberry Pi. Let's continue. Also, I'm using a keyboard which I'm going to be using to hook up on the Raspberry Pi to be able to write my programs. The program for this particular camera is going to be written in Python, and I'm going to be using it to launch and load the camera. Next, I'll be using a 7-inch display screen. This 7-inch display screen is where we're going to be viewing the output from the camera. And interesting, this particular 7-inch display screen is actually a touch screen. I'm using this particular display screen because it has capacitive touch, which allows me to be able to communicate with my camera using touch on the screen. The touch screen requires two inputs, one for the power of the screen itself and the other for the touch sensing function of the screen. The Raspberry Pi USB outlets will be supplying 5V power to the touchscreen through two USB cables. And of course, for this project, I'm going to be using a 1080 pixel USB webcam. For initial testing, I used a LiPo battery 5V DC USB supply. The battery supplies 5V DC at 3 amperes, which is just perfect for the Raspberry Pi. So with Python programming language and using some Python libraries, I was able to write a simple program that allowed me to stream real time from the camera, and also I created a simple button that allowed me to take snapshots when I pressed it. Next, I get to set up the Raspberry Pi in my car. For my car, I'm using a car charger USB supply which plugs into your regular 12-volt DC outlet. The USB car charger used has two USB 5-volt DC. Now the third USB 5-volt DC at 3 amperes output is where we're going to be plugging in the Raspberry Pi because it meets the Raspberry Pi's electrical specifications. Next, I used a tablet mount which hooks up to the CD-ROM area, which mounted the tablet holder and secured tightly with a screw. One of the challenges I faced while trying to install the camera is that the USB webcam I was using actually has very short cable lengths. To solve this problem, I got a USB extender on Amazon, and this USB extender extends up to 10 feet, which was well perfect for this particular project, and it extends well to the trunk of the car, and the camera worked really fine. It was easy to just run cables through the car seats all the way to the trunk. Powering up, and everything looked just fine. So, without wasting much time, I give you some tests. So this is just a simple webcam that I'm using. So it doesn't have night vision capabilities, but it pretty much works well in the night. So if you ask me the project difficulty on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it a 3. Yeah, a 3, because it wasn't that hard. It was just straightforward. Wait. Did you notice something? That I didn't just get only a backup camera, I also got my own media center where I get to play my favorite music and watch my favorite videos. And also, I can also browse the internet.
I'm a dog, I'm a beast, and your father's sleeping. She got a scorpion too, and a sting you just like a scorpion do.
The project worked really great. Of course, there are a lot of improvements still to make on the project. For example, I'm going to be attaching night vision, and I'm also going to be adding a notification system that allows me to know exactly if people are behind my car, or if a car is moving, or generally if there's any movement at the back of my car. So if you want to see all these improvements I've talked about, you can do well to subscribe to my channel, and you're going to get notification when I upload my next videos. Well, I do hope you found this video interesting and educating, and if you did, you can do well to like, you can do well to leave a comment, and you can do well to share with your friends. And again, if you haven't subscribed, please do well to subscribe to my channel so you can get all the latest uploads when I post my next videos. You can also do well to watch other videos on my channel which you may find interesting, which you can watch right here. That will be all for now. My name is OG, this is Creatronix, and I want to say thank you for watching.